Time for the score prediction. We broke down Pitt, Clemson, talked about the offense, talked about the defense, talked about the various matchups. Now it's time to put our necks out on the line, if you will, give a score prediction, and see where we go. The spread opened up at -9.5 for Clemson. It is -10 now, so gone up a half a point. The over-under started at 55.5. It is down to 53.5. So thoughts on that, and what is your score prediction for this Saturday against Pittsburgh, 12 noon kickoff? How do you see it going?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this game a lot. Obviously, a lot of this depends on how much we see of Eli Holstein and Kanata Mumfield, because they are two of the best, of course, the quarterback, and then their best and leading receiver. That does play a part. I don't know. I think the defense is going to get stops, but because this Pitt offense has kind of been struggling a little bit, but a lot of that is because their quarterback got hurt last week.
Right.
I'm very worried about Clemson offensively in this game. I am not ready to conclude that they are a team that's going to put up a bunch of points against this style of defense. I do think that Pitt's offense is probably the thing that's going to struggle, more. That's kind of the hope, is that they struggle more than your offense does.
Right. Yep.
Just even because if you see Eli Holstein and Kanata Mumfield, are they completely healthy? And I think if you can contain Desmond Reed, I don't think you can take him out of the game, but certainly try to limit his impact on the football game, and make sure that his 5-yard gains don't turn into 20 30+ yard gains with him. I think you should be okay. They're going to try to speed you up. So that's another thing, I want to see, because, we've had issues at times this year at getting calls in, defensively, play calls, guys not being set, at the snap, and that can't happen this week, because they will get a cheap explosive play.
You saw Virginia take advantage of that quite a bit in that game against our old boy Tony Elliott. So.
Yep. So you absolutely got to be on your P's and Q's from that standpoint as well. I think Clemson wins this game. I don't like the spread. I think this is going to be a competitive football game. I'm going to go Clemson 27, Pitt 20. A little bit over. What did you say the total was? 53.
It was 53.5.
Okay, 53.5. So a little bit over the total. 27-20. It is, Pitt is a really strangely tough place to play. They are not it's not from an atmosphere standpoint, but it's November. It's up in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of just it's a nooner. It's one of those sleepy environments that sometimes you don't really get fired up for. I mean, it's Clemson, so I think the Pitt students and fans will show up, but it's not one of the more daunting atmospheres in college football. It's just one of those. It's very easy to kind of sleepwalk into that game, because you're up north. It's colder, and obviously the one time Clemson has been up to Pitt didn't go well a few years ago. So that's going to be something to watch as well. So, but I think Clemson will win this game, but I don't feel great about it, and I don't think they win this comfortably. I think we're going to be sweating it out on Saturday. 27-20 Clemson for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's going to be a bit of a closer game. This is just, unfortunately, this matchup on defense is, giving me pause for concern. Much like you, I think you did a great job of outlining why this Pitt defense can give this Clemson offense so much trouble, and the success that we've seen from other teams that have done similar things to what Pitt is probably going to come out there and try to do against Clemson on Saturday. I do think our defense probably does a pretty good job of bottling them up for the most part. But again, I'm going to go under the 53.5. And I'm going to pick a push on the spread. Clemson -10. I see it 27-17 is how I see it shaking out. So under the spread and a push as far as the or a push as far as the spread, and then under the over/under for the game. I think Clemson's going to struggle to put up a ton of points, like you mentioned, and I think Pitt will struggle to put up a ton of points as well. So that's how I see it going, 27-17. Hopefully the Tigers make me right and pull this game out. But again, to your point, like, we're going to be in the fourth quarter, and this is still going to be a game. Clemson's not about to roll up to Pitt and blow them out, I don't think. If they do, I will welcome it with open arms and be super happy about it. I hope the offense comes out there and proves both of us wrong and just rolls up and down the field on Pitt like it's nothing. But
yeah,
not so sure that that's going to be the case.
I mean, as much this team needs a big offensive performance. I don't expect it to happen, but if they do, I do think that it's a data point that makes you feel a little bit better, for the matchup, a little bit better for the matchup you have in a couple of weeks. Slightly better. I don't think this Pitt defense is at the level of South Carolina's, at least especially up front.
Mm-hmm.
But at least showing that you can create explosive plays against a defense that's aggressive and physical up front.
Yeah, you just need to see a big performance out of this offense against a defense that can really match up and give them fits, right?
Yeah.
That's what you really need to see. But
neither one of us are expecting it. Yeah,
it's a lot easier said than done, and no, neither of us are truly expecting that. So we'll see. Again, I hope the offense proves us wrong, and we're here eating some crow on Saturday when we're doing our post-game live. But I do see this Pitt defense having success. But I still think the Tigers get it done. 27-17 was my score prediction. Yours was 27-20.
Yeah, within a field goal.
Yeah, within a field goal.
We're both under.
Yeah, both under the over/under. You're picking Clemson or you're picking Pitt and the points. I'm picking a push as far as the points go for the spread. So that's our score prediction. You guys get your score predictions in the super chat, in the chat right now, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Please, it really helps us out. We are on the road to 6,000 subscribers, as I mentioned at the top of the show, and we're on a good pace to hit that. Hopefully, before season's end, we'll see. Hopefully, you guys can help us out with that. And hit that like button while you're in here. We got 34 people in the live chat right now. Just a couple more segments, and then we're going to turn it over to you guys. So make sure you guys got your questions ready. Make sure you got your comments ready so we can chop it up with you guys right after our last segment, which will be none other than BYOG or Sell, Jordan. Again, we'll do one apiece, and then we'll turn it over to the comment section because I think they enjoy giving the BYOG or Sells more than we do. So we shall see. But I will go first. I'll let you go, and then we will let the comment section go for the BYOG or Sell segment, and then we'll go ahead and transition into just regular questions and comments after that. Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. BYOG or Sell. Sammy Brown records 3 tackles for loss.
3. So you got 2.5 this past week.
2.5. So I'm 3 or more.
Yeah, I'm going to Sell just because I think the opponent probably, I have a feeling his snap count is going to be. I don't think it's going to be significantly lower, but I think it's going to be lower.
Yeah.
to the point where I'm not necessarily. And plus, you're not, with how much tempo Pitt runs, you're not going to have as many opportunities to sub the way you want to.
Right.
So I'm selling on that, but I
Yeah,
want to see enough.
I agree with you. That in the quick game, to your point, when you were talking about Pitt's offense and their ability to get the ball out quickly, that's going to probably limit some of that pass rush or, some of those tackles for loss that you would otherwise be getting. So I will sell as well, but I would happily be wrong on that if he proves me wrong.
Absolutely. All right. BYOG or sell. Ooh. See, I should have been taking this time to think of one, but I completely blanked. BYOG or sell. Clemson's receivers, well, pass catchers, I should say, record only 2 or less drops.
2 or less drops. I will buy just because I'm hoping that there's been an emphasis by Tyler Grisham and Dabo Sweeney and the rest of that offensive coaching staff on this defense, on this wide receiver group about washing the ball all the way in, not trying to run, ball first type of mentality. I hope that's been stressed this week because if you look at that game last week, truly a couple of those catches that were drops were legitimately touchdowns. If you look at what was behind those wide receivers, if they would have looked that ball in, very well, 2 of those could have been touchdowns. And then the game looks a whole lot different than it did, right? And those would have been explosive plays. So I think that's probably been a point of emphasis this week. So I will buy.
I think I'm with you. I know some people feel like these receivers drop a lot of balls, but last week was really kind of uncharacteristic as far as we haven't really been talking about drops a lot with this group this year. So I tend to think they'll, a little bit of a regression to the mean type of thing in a positive sense, a positive regression to the mean.
Right.
And they don't, they see the ball all the way in and that's the difference in a couple of drives you had on Saturday. It could have been, I don't want to say field goals, but because we can't trust field goals, but at least scoring opportunities that you lost. So I will buy as well, and let's see what the comment section's on.
Let's see what they got.
Starting with John. He says BYOG or sell. Pitt will stifle the freshman wide receivers, leaving Williams, Brenningstool, and Stellato to be the passing game.
Will stifle the freshman wide receivers.
I think it's because of course that means both TJ and Bryant get stifled. I think TJ's been okay at getting off press. I mean, he's definitely physically farther along than Brian has been. When Brian has gotten manned up, he's been kind of worked. I saw it multiple times on Saturday. He needs to get. I think he needs to get his confidence back because he certainly is. I think they need to do some things differently to get him some free releases because he's not handling it very well.
Right.
I think TJ had opportunities on Saturday. He didn't catch. I mean, of course, and he still had a touchdown, and was your leading receiver. Really off of that one big play, but still, he had a screen pass, probably a little bit behind, but one you still need to bring in.
Yeah,
you got to catch it because he had wide open grass like that. That's got to be a touchdown. He had a couple of other, balls that well timed throws, well placed throws by Cade that TJ just could not bring. He didn't bring in. Wasn't necessarily. Wouldn't say it was dropped because the defender was right there, but it's kind of dropped. because it hit him in the hands. You got to bring that in. That's what we brought you in for. Those are the type of throws you have to make, especially if you want to go to the next level. Type of catches you have to make if you want to go to the next level. And TJ knows that, and he put out a tweet, like, I think right after the game, he said like 2 for 6 as far as his targets, like 2 catches out of his 6 targets. He's like, he was mad at himself. So I know, he's very much self-aware.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I'm going to sell. I say all that I'm going to say sell because I don't think both of them will get stifled. But yeah, TJ is going to have, I think he's going to have opportunities in this game. And I think Bryant, if they do some things a little bit differently, give him some opportunities. Once he gets going, there's really nobody that can run with him. So they just need to give him some more opportunities as well, get his confidence back, because he, just since the injury, he hasn't really had the same level of impact that he had at the beginning of the year. That's part of the freshman. Teams got the scouting report on you now. They know what to do. They've seen teams man you up and get hands on you, and that's just like, okay, well, that's what we're going to do. And until he, until he beats us and we have to tip our cap. So, here it is. Tiger fan 24 BYG or sell. He says Mafah over 125 rushing yards. Ooh. Pitt statistically has been a pretty good run defense, a solid run defense this year. But I do think that some of the rushing offenses they've faced have not been very good. So, some of that might be a deceptive. I don't know how to feel about that. 125. He's averaging 109. I'm going to buy. I'll listen.
Yeah.
125. I'll buy it.
I'm going to buy, because I think Clemson does need to focus on establishing that run game this week against Pitt. And you heard Dabo this week, right? More Mafah, more better. So he's going to get pretty much all the carries, if not all the carries. And I think it is important for Clemson to run the ball efficiently to have the success in the passing game that you hope that they have as the game goes. The running game is going to be key. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'll buy because I think Clemson needs him to do that in this game.
Yeah. And Tiggs had the same one. Well, I'm gonna go back to Dylan's, but Tiggs kind of had a similar one. BYG or something. Mafah gets 125 yards on the ground and 45 in the air. I'm selling that. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't buy. I'm not buying the 45 in the air.
Yeah,
that's not.
That hasn't been our game this year. That's just not what they've done with him. It'd have to be like a screen that he takes for like 1 billion yards because they blocked it up well, and the Pitt's defense was completely not prepared for it. It'd have to come on one play. I could not see him getting like multiple pass catching opportunities to get to 45 receiving yards. Dylan, BYOG or sell, he says, we have a receiver with 100-plus yards and a touchdown. Those have been kind of hit or miss this season. You haven't really had – you've had a few 100-plus yard games, but they've spread the ball around so much this year. It's just hard for me to go there. I'm going to sell. But the opportunities will be there. I think, as far as explosive passing plays through the air, we talked about how aggressive this Pitt defense is. Clemson should want to, they're going to have to try to find ways to create those opportunities. And that also means being, very disciplined up front in your pass protection. And Cade has got to be accurate, and he's got to see it. So I think the opportunities will be there for that to potentially happen, but
yeah, I don't know. I just think Clemson, so far they've shown us this season that they spread the ball around too much to really comfortably be able to say that you're going to buy that. I think I don't know.
And man, we've had two different.
Yeah.
Jay says BYU or Sell, we get a 100-yard receiver in the game. So yeah, we're both.
Yeah,
he just took out the touchdown, but still, that one's tough. Isaac with a good idea. You know, I was thinking about this. You know, right before the segment, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know, we need to revisit ours when we do it.
We do. I wrote them down, so we'll revisit those next week.
Cool. All right.
So you had 2 or less drops, and I had 3 or more tackles for loss for Sammy Brown. So we'll see how we did.
Yep. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Let's do a few more. I lost it. Wet Sox, BYG or Sell at least one Randall touchdown. Adam Randall snaps have been they're working him back, but
they've been pretty low.
Yeah.
I'm selling. I don't see it.
Selling.
I'd love for him to score, a touchdown in this game, but I don't see it.
Me neither.
It's been way low lately.
Isaac says BYG or Sell, Pitt runs that shovel pass play to their tight end fullback. I've watched a lot of Pitt this year. I've not seen them do that. Thankfully,
they're bringing it back for the Clemson game. Watch.
Teams have. One thing I have learned from watching just a lot of Clemson and watching their opponents, they do have special. They always have special stuff.
Yeah.
They have special Clemson game plans.
Don't worry, it's coming back. It's coming back.
That's the power of the brand, baby. That's the reality.
They're gonna bring it back. They're gonna bring it back for the Paul for sure. They're gonna do it. I'm buying. They're gonna do it.
I'm a Sell, but it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if they threw that kind of wrinkle in.
I swear to God, if they run it, it better not be successful. I'll be so mad.
Well, you don't have Brent Venables on that sideline. He's
so mad. He could not stop that, bro.
Yeah. I think ever since that game, I think he always every week he had a shovel pass. They ran it.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they had it. They could stop it.
It was a nightmare watching that game.
He basically vowed to never let shovel passes beat him.
He was like, no one will ever gain another yard on me with a shovel pass.
So crazy, man. Tiger fan 24, BYOG or Sell 2 or more takeaways. I mean, this Pitt offense has been a little bit. I don't know. 2 or more.
What's Pitt turnovers look like?
I had the numbers in front of me, but I don't. Yeah, I lost them.
They're +5 in the turnover ratio.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing like a outlandish number of turnovers. Eli Holsting has been pretty good with the football.
Yeah, he's only got 6 interceptions on the season. Let's see, fumbles. They fumbled 13 times and only lost 2.
That's actually quite a bit.
That is a lot of fumbles, but they don't lose a lot of them.
Yeah, they've been pretty fortunate then. And I think probably I don't know how many of them were charged to Eli. I know he's taken 19 sacks this year.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch if he plays. But yeah, he's taken 19 sacks this year. So probably some of them are from that, and he runs the football a lot. So I wonder how many have been charged to him.
That's a good one. Probably quite a few.
Yeah. Mafah, Byog yourself, 5 yards per carry. I think that's a pretty. It's
I'll buy
pretty.
that.
He's been over 5
He's
basically
what?
every.
He's
I
what?
think he was like.
He's 6.1 on the season. So
Yeah.
he probably at least hits that 5 mark in this
I think
game.
he was 4.9 last week. So I mean, but whatever.
He's good for 5 yards a pop.
Yeah. All right, let's do one more and then let's hit the comment section. Porsche Pal, BYOG or Selkata sacked 4 or less times. You got sacked 4 times last week.
And Pitt brings significantly more pressure than Virginia Tech brings.
Yeah. I mean, on the year, you've been pretty good at not giving up sacks. I mean, I think last week was an uncharacteristically bad game from Cade as far as holding on to the football at times.
I mean, he's only got 11 sacks on the season.
Yeah. And that's with giving up 4 last week, 4 last week. So 4, giving up, I think that's I'll buy that.
I'll buy that. Yeah,
I think Pitt's going to get pressures. They will get pressures, but I'm not necessarily. Teams have not gotten home on Clemson.
and I mean, I think Clemson obviously knows that they want to bring a lot of pressure. That they're going to blitz. They're going to disguise their blitzes, right? So I think they're, I would assume they're going to come out there with a plan for hot routes and to get rid of the ball quickly, to kind of get rid of some of that Pitt rush that speed up that they're going to try to do to Cade. So
yeah,
I would assume Clemson's going to come in with a good plan for that. And overall, our offensive line has held up pretty well this year.